everybody, it's Connie with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I am so glad you guys joined me today for a Tuesday tip. Hey, we're going to be talking about ink refills today, and I'm going to share my top 6 tips on why these are an absolute must-have in your stamp room. Guys, I couldn't even stamp if I did not have my ink refills, and especially with the tips I want to share with you today. But one thing I did want to mention about refills, first of all, we're one of the few companies that actually offer refills for our ink pads. Isn't that great that you can count on Stampin' Up! And we're not going to ask you to throw away an ink pad when it's gone dry. Oh heavens, no! You're just going to re-ink it. This little bottle is going to re-ink your ink pads and do some other nifty tricks, and it's going to last and last and last and last. Guys, these don't expire. They last for a very, very long time. And I can probably safely say that for most of you, you'll never buy it twice because this is going to last that long. But you know what? I've yapped long enough. I'm ready to share my 6 top tips on using ink refills. So obviously the main reason we use our ink refills is to re-ink an ink pad. I could see that my leaves on this card were getting a little light, which means it was time to re-ink. I could also tell it was time to re-ink. It was getting very light there in the center. When we stamp, we tend to keep inking in the center. A tip is to always work your way around the ink pad when you ink, but let's face it, guys, we do focus there in the center. So I'm going to take my, this is my Lemon Lime Twist, and I am going to tell you, I double check. Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lime Twist. Yes, I have re-inked in the wrong color, and you don't want to do that. So what we want to do is I'm just squeezing the bottle as I run it back and forth. I'm touching the ink pad with the tip. I'm then, sliding everywhere. We're going to rotate it, and we're going to go the opposite direction. And then I'm going to come back into the middle because I know that's what I did. Now, you see it soaked in really quick. That means this ink pad was dry, and it was due for a re-inking. So I'm just going to kind of maybe give it a little bit more. It's now time to put those dead gift cards to good use. I'm going to use this gift card. And can you see that ink moving around? I'm very gently. I'm barely pressing that. And I'm just leveling out that ink, running this back and forth. I can just run that back and forth on my chamois. You can see no ink, so I know I can reuse this card over and over for re-inking. Another reason I recommend you always have ink refills on hand is what happens when you're stamping in Granny Apple Green and then, oops, you went in the wrong color. Come on, it's happened to all of us. And now look, I have Granny Apple Green in my Lemon Lime Twist. Here's what you do. We're going to take a paper towel and very gently, I don't want to press hard because I don't want to press that ink down in there. I'm going to lightly dab and pull up. Now, obviously, I did just re-ink this, so I'm pulling up a lot. But I'm going to pull up any of that Granny Apple Green. And now we're going to come in and re-ink in the way that I just showed you. I'll put more ink on and come back over it with that little used gift card. And we're ready to go again. I am a huge fan of Stampin' Spots, especially when I'm working with the Stamparatus. It's nice to have this smaller ink pad. Guys, we want to keep these nice and juicy when we work. And you can see they don't use a lot of ink because they are so small. Here's another tip. When I have all of my ink refills out, all I'm seeing is the top of that lid. And I want you to notice I put a little identification color on mine. And to do that, I'm going to use a standard office hole punch. This is your 1/4 inch hole punch. I'm going to punch out that circle. I'm going to come in with a mini glue dot and put it right there on my lid, and then I can grab that little dot, give it a good press. Now when I have all my ink refills in there, I can easily identify which one I'm working with. How about a dried marker? Guys, this happens. Real Red is probably one of my most commonly used markers, and of course, sadly, the one that dries out the quickest. I'm going to share with you how we can use our re-inkers to bring it back to life. Just a warning, this one can be messy. I'm going to have my Simply Chamois here just so it can pick up any drops of ink I might get. I have some just simple needle nose pliers. I am very gently going to take the tip out of this. I'm I'm going to press up, barely press, guys, just barely. Just enough to hold it, and then I'm going to twist my marker. And you see, that's going to come right out. Let me set that there. So here's our little barrel. I can take my Real Red re-inker. Always give it a good shake before you start, and just add a drop into that barrel. Kind of tap it down. I'm going to add another one. Tap it down. Oh, you know what? Third time's a charm, right? I can now pick up the tip, and I'm just going to gently twist it back on. Whoops. Twist it until it gets all the way down. Oh, can you see the ink's already kind of soaking into that tip? That's what we want. And there we go. We've revived our Real Red marker. You can do the same thing on the writing tip, but be aware it takes a little while for the tip to soak up the re-inker. I've got one more tip to share, and that's how to do watercolor wash with your ink refills. I've got a clear block. I will add 1 drop of re-inker because this is so concentrated. This is going to make my watercolor wash really, really bold. I'm going to bring in my cardstock. I've got an aqua painter filled with rubbing alcohol. I'm going to squeeze the barrel until I get a drop right there. I'm going to stir that up. And guys, this is going to be bold. Ready? Whoa! Look at that. And now I have a great watercolor wash. And there you go. Those are my top 6 tips why ink refills are a must-have in your stamp room. I hope that today's video gave you 1 or 2 new tips that maybe you didn't already know about ink refills. Guys, like I said, these are an absolute must-have in your stamp room. Now, I always recommend whenever you buy an ink pad, always add the ink refill to your order. Like I said, if you have that mishap where you have put ink in the wrong ink pad, oh no, disaster. You've always got to have that ink refill on hand to save the day. So I really do recommend that you always have these. Now, if you don't already have all the ink refills, let me tell you what you can do. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com and just look for the January 29th, 2019 blog post. This video will be there, and I'll have all the ink refills listed for you. So you can just go through, click off the ones that you need, add them directly to your order, and that way we can get you all set up. I want your stamp room happy, and I want your ink pads happy. Guys, I would be thrilled to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so please order right there at simplysimplestamping.com. I would be so appreciative. Hey, thanks so much for being a part of today's Tuesday tip. If you liked what you saw today, give me a thumbs up. Even better, subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notifications when I have a new video for you. That's it for me today. Go re-ink some ink pads and have a fabulous day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.